But what can we expect in the first days of his presidency? A lot of people asking this question. An 8-month-old is safe and sound, found inside this drainage ditch after being thrown from this car. Officials say she was ejected about 35 feet away. Listen. Firefighters are calling it a miracle she survived. 5 people, including the 8-month-old little girl, are recovering from non-life-threatening injuries at the hospital. This wreck happened in Texarkana, Arkansas. Happened along a major interstate there. Police officers say an 18-wheeler hit the car while it was changing lanes. And according to the firemen, the 8-month-old was thrown from the car when it flipped.
Up until we heard her, there had to be some kind of divine intervention for her to end up being okay the way she was for.
Absolutely, and officials say that baby only had a small scratch on her face. The driver of the 18-wheeler was cited for an improper and unsafe lane change. Meanwhile, the driver of the car involved in that crash is not facing a citation for the improperly secured car seat. You've likely seen pro golfers on television shed their shoes and possibly just a little bit of clothing to play a wall out of the water hazard. But I don't think you've seen this. This is golfer Sean Stefani, who stripped down to just his undershorts to play this shot at the Honda Classic.
Holy cow. Dude.
That's what I would do if I had that body.
Oh, man.
Well, Stefani escaped the water, went on to par to bogey 5 on the par 4 6th hole. Although he did fail to make the cut to the weekend, he's probably going to get maximum exposure now, certainly on this TV station. After the efforts, he actually tweeted out, Whitney, last night, "Not sure if I should apologize to everyone for getting into my boxers today," but he said just fighting to the end and trying to make the cut. He says that was his best option.
Yes, Taylor, and I really don't think he would have.
Police say 5 middle school students now face charges for hitting Trump's motorcade with a 2x4. Officers assisting the Secret Service reported that the president's motorcade had been struck by a small hard object while passing a gas station in Palm Beach County. A middle school child has confessed to throwing the piece of wood and implicated 4 other students. Officials searched the scene, and right now they're reviewing surveillance video from that gas station. No word yet on the charges against those young students. A state commission says racism has played a role in the water crisis in Flint, Michigan. A report by the Civil Rights Commission was released on Friday. The document doesn't claim any civil rights laws were broken, but it says systematic racism and implicit bias helped create problems with drinking water. According to the report, many residents say they wouldn't have had those problems and that would have been treated differently if Flint were not predominantly black. At least 13 current and former officials have been charged since that crisis began.
With
I'm gonna
garlic
get the
salt.
smallest one possible. This one doesn't have legs.
The legs get stuck in your teeth, so that's a
Yep,
good call.
I'm glad we didn't do legs. All right, ready?
All right.
They're
Cheers.
seasoned with what?
Garlic salt.
Okay, here we go. I feel like it's a pill and I can't swallow it.
We should have brought water.
Interesting. I'm so glad I live in the Western Hemisphere.
It's some protein.
It is some protein. Okay. This morning, a man is recovering after an e-cigarette exploded in his pants yesterday. Check out this surveillance video. You'll see the man just sitting there when all of a sudden it looks like fireworks coming from his pocket. The explosion sends those men around him running out of the store.
Out of nowhere, a huge explosion came from one of my coworkers' pockets, and it just shot at us.
My colleague, his pocket started engulfed in flames. There were, there were sparks, and I thought it was fireworks, like 4th of July.
The man is in stable condition after the incident. He's at a hospital where he's being treated for burns. No other workers were injured. Today marks year 4 of the search for answers for a missing Smyer teen. The Hockley County Sheriff's Office asks for help finding Megan. Plus, a car plows into a crowd of people celebrating Mardi Gras. We'll hear from the New Orleans mayor as celebrations continue today while dozens are recovering. We begin with breaking news out of Yoakum County. An abducted 13-year-old is now back with her family, and the registered sex offender who had her is in custody. The teen from the Kyle, Texas area has been rescued after deputies with the Yoakum County Sheriff's Office chased down the suspect. According to officials with the sheriff's office, deputies were notified that 26-year-old Dane Kelsey Minter, a registered sex offender, had abducted a 13-year-old female and would be traveling through Yoakum County. Deputies found the vehicle. That's when Minter tried to drive and then run away from law enforcement. That person's now in custody at the Yoakum County Jail on a warrant for probation violation for sexual assault of a child in Travis County. Today marks 4 years since Meyer resident Megan Hembry went missing. She was last seen driving her red Saturn from her home to visit a friend here in Lubbock, but she never arrived. Officials say she was last seen with Michael Ramsey, a man she had just met a few months earlier. Police found her car 3 days after she went missing years ago. Ramsey was questioned, but never charged. If you have any information on her whereabouts, you're asked to call the Hockley County Sheriff's Office. That number is listed on our website. The New Orleans Police Department is investigating a crash where a vehicle ran into a crowd of people at a Mardi Gras celebration, leaving 28 injured. The New Orleans police said the crash happened just before 7 o'clock yesterday evening during a parade in Mid-City, New Orleans. Authorities say a pickup truck rammed through the crowd, struck 2 vehicles, and then crashed into a dump truck. 21 people were taken to the hospital in the area, including 5 to the trauma center. 1 person is in custody right now. They suspect he was intoxicated. The mayor there encouraging citizens to be respectful during this Mardi Gras season.
And we've had individuals who made really bad decisions today that have really caused serious damage and consequence to a lot of citizens, which is just a shame because there are hundreds of thousands of people that have been enjoying themselves. So for the rest of the season, we're going to ask people again, be respectful, be thoughtful to the citizens. If you see something, say something.
Meanwhile, celebrations continue today with heavy hearts. The official day for Mardi Gras celebration is on Tuesday, and the total economic impact of Mardi Gras in the city of New Orleans is approximately $840 million. A man drove a rental car into pedestrians outside a bakery in the German city of Heidelberg yesterday. 3 people were hurt. 1 later died from his injuries. That driver fled carrying a knife and was shot after officers tracked him down. The suspect is a 35-year-old German man. Police say so far they found no evidence of terrorism, but his motives are still a mystery right now. This weekend, Houston police have new information in the search for the killers who shot a teen fast food worker. Meanwhile, a struggling, emotional mom and father are remembering their heroic son. Stephen Romo has more from Houston. That was Stephen Romo reporting. The father also said Javier died a hero because he saved his mama, and that's the way we're going to remember him. Happening today, lots of anticipation in Hollywood right now as the Academy Awards are going to be handed out in a few hours later tonight. Here's a live look down into the entryway into the Dolby Theater. You can see the red carpet there. They laid that out not too long ago. Obviously very early still out there in California, but pretty soon that will certainly be filled with hundreds, thousands of people. The musical La La Land comes in with a record tying 14 nominations. The record for wins is 11. Now it's unlikely to tie or beat that record, but Best Picture, Best Director, and Best Actress for Emma Stone are widely expected to be among its victories tonight. The dark drama Manchester by the Sea is another Best Picture contender. Its star, Golden Globe winner Casey Affleck, is seen as a co-favorite for Best Actor along with Fence's Denzel Washington. We'll have to see what happens tonight. Now, after last year's Oscar So White controversy about the Academy Awards' lack of diversity in the acting categories, there are now 7 performers of color among the 20 acting nominees this year. The time is 8:08. This morning, the investigation continues into what caused a house fire in Lockney over the weekend. After 6 hours of battling the fire, firefighters were able to douse the blaze. The home is now a complete loss. The Floyd County Sheriff's Office said no one was injured. The home was located at the intersection of FM 378 and Highway 70. And the investigation continues into what caused a central Lubbock house fire at the start of the New Year's weekend. This happened just after 11:30 Friday in the 1900 block of 42nd Street. Lubbock Fire Rescue says when crews arrived, they found heavy smoke and fire Fortunately, firefighters were able to extinguish the fire quickly. No one was inside the home. LFR says about a quarter of the home suffered extensive fire damage, while the entire home suffered heavy smoke damage. Though the fire remains under investigation, authorities do believe the fire was likely caused by having too many electric space heaters running from the same generator and not properly using the correct extension cords. City of Lubbock offices will be closed today in observance of the New Year's holiday. There will be no dumpster trash collection either. The trash collection schedule will be pushed back just a couple days until Thursday. The city's recycling drop-off center will also be closed today, and normal operations will resume tomorrow. And we have a friendly reminder for families with kids in school. Faculty and staff with Lubbock ISD return to work today for professional development, but kids will hit the books tomorrow. Students within Friendship ISD also go back on Tuesday. While kiddos at Lubbock Cooper ISD have some extra vacation time, they'll return to school on January 9th. And taking a look at some headlines around the world. Right now, police in Turkey are struggling to track down the gunman who killed at least 39 people at a nightclub in Istanbul, Turkey. He was caught on security camera shooting his way into the nightclub early Sunday morning. Turkish media report nearly two-thirds of the dead were foreigners, including one Canadian. An American man from Delaware was shot in the leg during the massacre. Right now, President Trump says he's not going to this year's White House Correspondents' Dinner. He announced his decision in a tweet Saturday, wishing everyone a great evening on April 29th. The black tie event is an annual tradition for presidents, reporters, and Washington insiders. Now, you may remember this event because it's often known for the insane celebrity roastings, or political roastings. In 2011, then President Barack Obama roasted Donald Trump at the dinner. 2011. It was 5 minutes of jokes directed at that man who had raised questions about whether Obama was born in the United States.
All kidding aside, obviously we all know about your credentials and breadth of experience. For example, no, seriously, just recently in an episode of Celebrity Apprentice at the steakhouse, the men's cooking team did not impress the judges from Omaha Steaks. And there was a lot of blame to go around, but you, Mr. Trump, recognized that the real problem was a lack of leadership.
Again, that was 2011, 6 years ago. Fast forward to 2017, and here we are now. President Trump's decision follows increasingly tense relations between the White House and the media. Despite these tensions, the Correspondents Association says its members will continue to do their jobs and cover the White House. Former Labor Secretary Tom Perez will take the helm of the Democratic Party. He was elected a new party chair by the Democratic National Committee in Atlanta yesterday. The president, Donald Trump, tweeted from his personal account, again, not from his POTUS Twitter account. Here's the tweet. Congratulations to Thomas Perez, who was just named chairman of the DNC. I could not be happier for him or the Republican Party. Well, Perez tweeted in response, call me Tom and don't get too happy. Keith Ellison and I and Democrats united across the country will be your worst nightmare. A military judge is refusing